Hi everyone, I'm Alison Unsted and I work for the City Mental Health Alliance. In response to the current coronavirus pandemic, we're putting together some short videos on live issues that we know our members and other businesses are grappling with. And today I'm going to be talking to you about managing remote teams. Remote working has increased in recent years. Many of us, including myself, have benefited from its flexibility. Whilst many of us may have experienced working from home or working away from the office, for some, they are working remotely for the first time and not out of choice. Most of you would have had very little time to prepare for this. And whilst we have the technology, subject to your broadband and Wi-Fi, of course, for remote working arrangements to be successful, managers must be thinking beyond the technology and need to understand the human impact, both on an individual and team level. So what do managers need to think about? We are all adapting to a new working environment. Many of us are now working in less than ideal circumstances, and we need to do what we can to make the best of it. As managers, we need to think about those in our teams who may not be familiar with remote working. We must not make assumptions about everybody's familiarity or competence with the different technologies. If you have guidance or training, then please offer it wherever possible. We also need to think about the continued access to company knowledge and information. For example, does everyone still have access to your company intranet, to key documents on sharing platforms and systems? When we are no longer in the office, how can people find information that they need? This is especially relevant to newer members of the team who will not have the opportunity to turn to the person sitting next to them to ask a question. So consider the use of different communication channels, maybe a WhatsApp group, for example, for those quick, informal questions and communications that team members may need to have. Also, be tolerant of interruptions. We are working in less than ideal circumstances, and some of us will be juggling work with our childcare or other caring commitments. Some people might not have a dedicated space within their homes to work. So be flexible in how you allow your teams to manage their workloads. Trust in all of this is key. Focus on output rather than time. It's also really important to set clear expectations, particularly when there is no longer a clear distinction between home and the office, as boundaries often do get blurred. It's very easy to slip into this. Managers should set clear expectations and guidelines, and also encourage really positive wellbeing behaviours. So this will involve ensuring team members are taking adequate rest breaks. It's really easy to get engrossed into our work and forget to take breaks. However, encourage team members to take time away from their desks to eat lunch and to do something else during this time, whether that be taking exercise or connecting with somebody socially. Also, try and set some clear boundaries about working hours and make sure those who are taking any annual leave are actually taking a break away from work and not working through. Also think about diary management. Avoid scheduling back-to-back online meetings or long online meetings without regular breaks. In an office environment, there are typically natural pauses, whether that to be from room to move from room to room or to grab a drink. So encourage your members to schedule regular breaks in their diaries throughout the day, and also to allow space in between meetings to move around and to refresh themselves. Also, encourage teams to be active and to eat well. Perhaps share some home workout schedules. Think about setting team activities and challenges that might encourage more participation. Also think about the impact of increased communication online. We will see an increase in email traffic. We will see more instant messaging. And I think we really do need to set some rules around this. For example, not using reply all when responding to emails, thinking about being clear if responses are needed and when they're needed by. It's also really important to stay connected and to support your team. There are going to be team members who will welcome the quiet, uninterrupted time to focus on their work, but there will be others, particularly the more extroverted types, who will struggle with the lack of interaction with their team members. Think also about those who may need additional supervision, such as new members of the team, but also those such as trainees. So ask your team members about their individual needs, how they would like to be communicated with, and how often they would like to be communicated with. As I said, some will be quite happy to get their heads down and to work in quiet, remote environments, while others really will need that interaction and support and communication from you. While lots of work can be done independently, there are also going to be lots of projects and different pieces of work that need team interaction. So consider ways and different technologies that you have that allow teams to stay connected and to work together cohesively. Also think about the different types of communication channels that are available to you. At the City Mental Health Alliance, we are a virtual team. So we do work, we communicate in lots of different ways. We communicate via email, we speak on the phone, but we also use a WhatsApp group for the more informal chats, the quick questions and the urgent messages. But we also have regular video calls, both on a one-to-one basis, but also together as a team. We feel it's really important to have that human connection and that team bonding through these video calls. So set up regular calls and check-ins with your team, both on a one-to-one basis, but also the team together, particularly if your team tends to work in a collaborative way. With the lack of in-person interaction, one-to-one and team calls may need to be scheduled on a more regular basis than normal. Also agree the best method of ad hoc communication between yourself and the team. Keep communication and ways of connecting under constant review. Check in with the team to make sure that it's working for everybody. For those junior employees and those in trainee roles, they usually benefit from having the in-person supervision, training and support. So consider ways to get around this during this period. So you might want to assign a buddy or a co-worker to provide the support and supervision online. Keep also everyone up to date with relevant company updates and information as you would have done normally. The last area I want to mention is isolation and loneliness. In the office environment, we often take for granted the day-to-day connection and communication we have with others. But without it, we can very easily become isolated and lonely. Right now, this is especially relevant for people who may live on their own and people who are isolating. So make regular time on meetings to check in with each other, not to jump straight to business. Ask your team members how they are doing, how they are feeling. It's a really unpredictable time, and it is causing a lot of stress and anxiety. Make sure you know where to signpost people to help if they need it. Also make opportunities to connect on a more social basis with members of the team. At the City Mental Health Alliance, we have acknowledged that we will not be meeting in person for some time, and we've scheduled in 2 extra 30-minute calls during the week. This isn't to discuss work, but it is time for us to connect with each other and listen. But also don't forget about the regular celebrations like birthdays or work anniversaries. You might not be able to bring cakes into the office, but you can certainly find ways to celebrate and mark these different events. Thank you very much for listening today. This is not an exhaustive list, and there are lots of different suggestions and resources out there available to you. But I hope it's been useful. If you would like any more information about how to support colleagues during this time, or would like to learn more about the City Mental Health Alliance, then please do visit our website, www.citymha.org.uk, or come and see us on LinkedIn or Twitter. Thanks very much. Stay well, everyone.